Welcome to the analysis of one of the most renowned poems of the Romantic Age, The Solitary Reaper, written by the father of Romanticism, William Wordsworth. The written analysis of this poem is also available on our website, the link of which is given in the description box below. In Romantic poetry, intellect and reason were subdued, and their places were taken by imagination, emotion, and passion. This characteristic of Romantic age is reflected in this poem as well. In the lesson today, we'll be discussing the introduction of the poem. We'll also be learning the summary of the poem, the structure of the poem, the theme of the poem, along with the poetic devices that are used in the poem. Now let's read the text of the poem first. Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself. Stop here, or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old and happy far off things and battles long ago. Or is it some more humble lay, familiar of today, some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be again? Whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. I listened motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I pour, long after it was heard no more. Now let's discuss the introduction of the poem. The poem Solitary Reaper is a pure pastoral poem written in a rustic setting. The poem reflects a beautiful reflection of the nature. In this poem, poet sees a Highland girl singing and cropping in a field. The poet was surprised by her song that was sweeter than the songs of nightingale and cuckoo birds. The soothing effects of the song are much pleasurable and leave an unforgettable impact on the mind and the heart of the poet. Let's summarize the poem now. Look at her alone in the field, that Scottish girl by herself over there. She is cutting the grain and singing to herself. Stop and listen to her or walk on quietly. She cuts and gathers the grain and sings a sad song. Listen, the deep valley is overflowing with her music. No nightingale ever sang more soothing notes to tired group of travelers as they rested at an oasis in the Arabian desert. The cuckoo bird never sang with such an affecting voice in the spring, breaking the ocean silence around the Scottish Isles. Won't anyone tell me what her song is about? Maybe she sings so sadly for old tragedies and ancient battles, or maybe the song is humbler about everyday things, the pains and the sorrows that everyone endures. Whatever she was singing about, the young woman sang as though her song would never end. I saw her singing while she worked, bending over to cut the wheat with a sickle. I listened to her without moving, and as I walked on up a hill, I carried her music in my heart, and I still do, long after I stopped hearing it. The theme of the poem. The main theme of the poem, as other poems of the Romantic age, is the glorification of nature. In the poem, nature provides the ultimate good influence on the human mind. A good relationship with nature helps individuals connect to both the spiritual and social worlds. Wordsworth emphasizes that using memory and imagination, individuals can overcome difficulty and pain. Coming towards the structure of the poem, The Solitary Reaper consists of 4 stanzas. Each stanza is comprised of 8 lines. The rhyme scheme of each stanza is ABAB, CC, DD. The perfection of the poem lies in the use of end rhymes such as profound and sound, still and hill, lay and day, and grain and strain. Now let's talk about the poetic devices that are used in the poem. The first poetic device that we're going to discuss is imagery. Imagery is creating images in the mind of the readers by appealing to their 5 senses. In the following lines of the poem, reaping and singing by herself, I saw her singing at her work. More welcome notes to weary bands. The poet has used imagery to describe a girl who is working in the fields and is singing with herself. The next poetic device that we're going to talk about are rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions are the questions that are asked to create emphasis only. These questions do not require an answer. So if there's a rhetorical question in the poem, the poet is not asking you a question, he is just creating that dramatic emphasis. The following lines of the poem are the rhetorical questions. Will no one tell me what she sings? And that has been and may be again. That was a brief analysis of the poem The Solitary Reaper. The written analysis of this poem is available on our website, and you are more than welcome over there. See ya!